as long as you've been knowing yourself, you've been a queer?
There's been signs of it ever since I was young,
And that's why,
even if I denied it. And I'd rather be honest with myself.
And that's why you think that God did it?
Yeah.
Amazing. God didn't do that.
Yes, he did.
No.
Yes, he did.
I may not know my flaws, but I do know God did not make queers.
Jesse Lee Peterson absolutely trolls this self-proclaimed queer on his show over his sexuality, or rather his confusion of it, as Jesse Lee Peterson tries to figure out why this guy is queer in his usual hilarious fashion. So let's check out Jesse Lee Peterson completely trolling this guy.
You say you participate with the LGBT and all that stuff?
Yes.
I read, and I almost don't want to ask you this, but I think I read that you call yourself a queer.
Yeah.
You call yourself a queer?
Yeah.
What's a queer?
Just somebody who falls under the LGBTQ plus label, generally. I don't like to use words like gay or bi or any of that, because I've tried to use those labels, and I don't really like them because they've been extremely constricting, and so I've thought like, hey, I'm 20, I'm just going to use this label because I do know that I have an attraction to men, and but I also seem to have an attraction to women, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly where I lie, so it's an easy catch-all term.
And so a queer is having the attraction to both male and female?
Well, it can mean any number of things. I'm telling you who I'm attracted to, but queer could be basically anyone who falls under an LGBTQ plus label.
Would you rather that the world know about you, that you are a Christian or you're a queer?
I guess Christian.
So why would you put it out there that you're a queer instead of just being a Christian?
Well, I'm not keeping private either of the information.
Well, what's the purpose of putting it out there that you're queer? What's the purpose of saying that to the public?
Well, because I like to have my dating options open.
What? So you will put your business out in the street because you want to have your dating options open?
Well, yeah. I mean, if I see a guy, if I wanted to date them, or if the guy was also gay or bi or something, they would need to know that I'm queer before they would approach me and want to date me. If they think I'm straight, then they wouldn't know that.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing.
Like if somebody didn't know you were single and they thought you were in a couple or married, then they wouldn't know that you're available.
And it would be fine.
Yeah, well, not if you're trying to find somebody to live your life with.
But you should never try to find someone to live your life with. You should only seek what's right, and then all things will be added.
Well, I think cute boys are right, so.
What?
Well, I think that the cute boys are right, so.
So, that is interesting. That is so interesting. But let me ask, is it right, I don't want to use the word right or wrong, which is best, to not be a queer or to be a queer?
What's best? I don't think there's any moral difference. I don't think there's a best or wrong. It's like asking me what's best, blue eyes or green eyes. It's like, well, I don't really think there's any moral difference whatsoever. Or what's
blue eyes
better.
are best.
Well, thank you. As somebody who has blue eyes, I appreciate it.
You have blue eyes?
Yeah, I do have blue eyes.
I have blue eyes too. Thank you. Blue eyes are best.
Thank you very much.
Blue eyes are more hated than green eyes.
Are they?
Yeah.
I've never received any hate for having blue eyes.
What do you think?
Well, I've gotten compliments for them, but I've never gotten hate for it.
Amazing. And so, what did I ask? What was the question I asked about?
It was about what's better to be.
Oh, to be a queer or not to be one?
Yeah, I don't think there's any difference.
Which is right?
What is right? I don't think there's anything right or wrong about either option.
Do you think God made queers?
Yes.
God made a queer?
Yes.
How do you do that?
Through his wisdom and power. I mean, he did. I mean, I'm here, so he did.
So how did he make is it a queer, how did he make that though? You know how he made the body and made the human being. How did he make a queer?
Are you asking me to explain God's wisdom to you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I cannot know. God's all powerful.
So how do you know God made you that way then?
How do I know he made me that way?
Yeah.
Because I am. It's like asking me how I know God made me with legs. I can see my legs.
Really? And so as long as you've been knowing yourself, you've been a queer?
There's been signs of it ever since I was young,
and
even if I denied it, and I'd rather be honest with myself.
And that's why you think that God did it?
Yeah.
Amazing. God didn't do that.
Yes, he did.
No.
Yes, he did.
I may not know my flaws, but I do know God did not make queers.
Really?
Right? God doesn't make mistakes.
Well, it's
He
not a
made-
mistake to be queer, though.
And being a queer is not who you are and what you do as a result of being turned away from your earthly father. So you're really out in the wilderness looking for peace. And so you're picking up these different spirits, thinking that they're from God. But I totally understand it. But let me
Well,
ask.
then can I ask you a question, though?
Yes.
Well, if that's true, then why are boys so cute? Because if it's not right for me to feel these ways, then why are they so cute?
Because you have your mother's identity.
Really?
You have the mindset and emotions of a woman. You're not yourself.
How do you know that?
Because when you resent your mother, and in your case, she wasn't even around.
I don't resent my mother.
In your case, she wasn't even around to raise you, and then you resent your father. So you've been turned away from your father's identity, and you have your mother's identity, which is of the feminine nature. And so you think and feel like a female, and because no one has really explained to you that that's not who you are. You've grown up thinking that that's who you are, but that's not who you are. That's what you do.
That's very interesting because it sounded like at first you were saying I resented my mother, and if I would have said yes, then it would have been, well, you resent your mother, so that's why you're queer. But when I said I didn't, then it's, well, you resent your father.
No, you
and
do
since you
resent
resent
your
your
mother, too.
father, that's why you're queer. So it sounds like no matter what
But you
path
do
you would have
res-
taken, it would have been an explanation.
You do resent your mother because she wasn't there for you. So
No,
you
I
can't help
don't.
but
I don't
her.
resent my mother. I understand why she wasn't there.
And you resent your father, but it's because of the resentment. You're born through your mother, so you're born in sin, right? And that's what has brought this idea on about being a queer. But that's not who you
Well,
are.
I think it's mostly just because boys are cute. I don't think it's really that complicated.
And so that's amazing, man.
Amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
And so which are you more proud of, being a queer or a Christian?
What am I more proud of? I've never really measured them against each other.
Which do you promote the most?
What do I
being
promote
a queer
the
or being
most?
a Christian?
I don't really promote it. I don't really promote being queer. I don't know, like, it's not like, hey, join the club. Like, I have, like, membership forms.
Right.
If you want, I could give you one of my membership forms. I can recruit you into the queers.
Which one do you promote?
Well, I
being
guess
a
it would-
Christian or being a
I
queer?
would say being a Christian because anyone could be a Christian, not anyone could be a queer.
What do you mean anyone could be a Christian?
Anyone could come to God, but not anyone could just find men attractive.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure Jesse Lee Peterson actually probably doesn't find all this too amazing. But the thing I notice is this guy doesn't see a moral equivalence. Now, I don't know how old this person is. Moral equivalence between being a queer or, eyes or, anything like that. But the difference is your behavior affects other people. Because if you notice, he keeps mentioning, and again, I don't know how old he is, but he keeps mentioning cute boys. Cute boys, right? That's what he keeps mentioning. That's the behavior that affects other people that now we are seeing so much more prevalent in society. Cute boys. And that's why there's so much more attention to the kids, which kind of proves the point that there is a moral difference between having arms and legs and how you behave and what you do to other people. Saying that there isn't is basically just saying, oh, there's no consequence or accountability towards my behavior. It's all fair game. But let me know in the comments if you agree that there is a moral difference between how you're structured and actually how you behave and act towards other people. Hit that like button. I appreciate it. Let's get back in.
Interesting, man.
Like, do you find men
I know.
attractive? Do you find men attractive?
No.
You don't find them cute at all?
No.
Not their cute little dimples or anything? None of that?
Even the one with the blue eyes.
Even with the muscles? Even the muscly men? Well, then it looks like you can't be a queer, can you?
Even the one with the muscles.
Even the one with the muscles.
But
See,
you have a
can't sell me
girlfriend,
on
right?
that. Yes, I do.
Are you able to talk about her for a minute?
I would rather not.
You would rather not mention
rather
her
not talk
color
about
or
her.
anything?
No, well, I mean, she's black. She's from Haiti. But
So you have a black girlfriend.
yes.
What is a guy with long hair, blue eyes doing with a black woman from Haiti?
Well, I grew up in Prince George's County, Maryland. It's a majority black county. I'm very proud of the community, and I've never dated a white person in my life, and it's not because I don't like white people, or if I found someone that was white, Maybe I did. There was an example when I was in high school. There was one other white person in my class, and that one white person was a woman, and I found out in my graduating semester she was actually my cousin. And so it just showed how few white people there were in my community. So it's not like a preference thing. It's more just these are the people in my community, and so they're the people yeah, they're mostly black. Yeah.
And that's how you ended up with a black woman?
Yeah.
Is she your first black woman?
No, she's not.
Really?
I've never dated a white person.
You know that once you go black, you can't go back.
I can't? Well, then I guess this is it then.
You're stuck.
Oh, I'm happy to be where I'm at.
Is she older than you or younger?
She's 3 years older.
You got an older black woman?
Yes.
Do you work?
Yes, I do.
And you guys living together and all that?
Yes.
That's amazing. She had kids?
No, she does not.
Amazing. Do you want kids?
I do one day want kids, yes.
So you got a black woman from Haiti. You can find one in America?
Well, she has roots in Haiti. She was originally in America, but then went to Haiti, spent time in Haiti, then Canada, then back to America. It was like all the way around the world. Global.
Does she do that voodoo stuff at home?
Does she do voodoo stuff at home? Well, she's put a curse on me. Besides that, no.
She put a curse on you?
Yeah. She's got me hooked.
Do you have, let me ask this. How do you deal with the hell in her when it comes out?
The hell in her?
Yeah.
What do you mean by the hell in her?
You know how sometimes when they wake up mad about nothing and complaining, you like, what the?
Mad about nothing?
Yeah, you happy?
I would say, if anything, usually that I'm more mad about nothing. There's some problem with maintenance or some other issue. I'm usually the one that gets madder sooner. I remember there was an example of somebody was parking in a parking spot, and I was very, very mad about it. And I was the one who went out and wanted to let's call the tow truck company. And she was the one that was less confrontational. So if anything, I'm the one that's more mad.
You get angry more than your woman?
Probably, yeah.
Really? And so does she call you beta because you're more emotional than she is?
Oh yes. She greets me with hello, beta. She shakes my hand.
What is it like knowing that you're worse than your woman?
That I'm worse than her?
Uh-huh.
I feel lucky.
When it comes to anger?
Well, I feel lucky to have somebody calm me down then.
Oh, yeah?
This guy says he's a Christian, but there is just literally, it's just looking and talking to him, there's nothing Christian about this guy. I mean, he's not the source of the household. He's not the provider. He doesn't seem to be the protector. If he's the self-admitted beta to his older woman, and at the same time he finds boys cute, like there's no masculinity or pride in his being, in my opinion, coming out at anything that he's saying. He is absolutely a beta bitch, like through and through. He's self-admitted. And to say that there's just nothing wrong with any of this from the perspective of a man is absolutely wrong. And I know Jesse Lee Peterson agrees with this and just sees right through all the problems that this young guy is going to have down the course of the rest of his life, because his woman is probably going to turn him out. But thanks for watching. Put down in the comments what you thought about what Jesse Lee Peterson had to say trolling this self-proclaimed queer on his show. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.